Do you ever feel that life is too overwhelming?
Does your full plate of daily tasks sometimes seem like an entire buffet?
Do you ever wonder how everyone else makes life look so easy?
If this sounds like you, then grab a seat, get a cup of Joe or a glass of Merlot, and join the two broads from Boca as they discuss life and those taboo topics that you only talk about behind closed doors.
It's time to open those doors, embrace your family, and take your power back. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 to ask those unspoken questions.
Or share an idea that simply needs a friendly ear.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our second show of Two Broads from Boca.
I have to tell you, every time I hear that intro, I love it so much. I think I sing it to myself all the time, and my kids and my husband go, "What is with that song?" But it just, there's sometimes a song that resonates with you.
Yes.
And that one, and I am not a big lyrics person, so if you ever wanted to pull a prank on me, it would be to ask me the lyrics to a song. So on that song, I actually had to listen to the whole thing. But when it talks about radio and media and what it does to your self-image, to me, I find it so appropriate for where we live, where everybody's living, that we're looking at such a different sense of the world.
Exactly.
Based on how it really is.
Right.
But anyway, aside from that.
How was your week? I haven't seen, well, that's a lie.
You've seen me a
We've
lot.
seen each other, but we haven't.
Oh my gosh.
We just haven't had a minute.
Really?
It's been a little crazy. No, it's been a lot of work oriented, not about so what's going on?
I don't know. I think it has been such an unbelievable ride.
Yeah, so
that
far.
Since we
thus far.
started this in 4 weeks, the incredible response we've gotten from all of you.
Thank you.
We had over 6,000 hits in
Yes.
48
Wow.
hours last week.
Fantastic.
So I thank you all. That is a credit
Yes, very
to you.
much. Thank you.
And
But
we hope you are active again and you give us a call today.
Absolutely.
And we're going to introduce Tracy in just a moment, but give us a call at 1-888-565-1470. Share your thoughts and ideas. But let's just sort of touch base, see where we're at for the week.
I had a
What was
lovely
your
week.
week like?
Week was good. Kids are good. I took a wonderful new thing. I did a hip hop dance class.
I saw
on
that, and I'm
Sunday.
thinking, I remember my kids doing hip hop, and I was
so
hysterical.
much fun. Dynamite Dance Studio. I will shout you out. And Seth Harris Gordon was the teacher. Oh my God, best $15 I've ever spent. Felt like Ginger Rogers, looked like Jerry Lewis, so not judgmental. We had the best time. It was really good. Good exercise and a lot of fun.
And I know you did it with as much love and grace as we did our photo shoot just before we sat here.
Yes, and I fell right on my keister, quite beautifully though, like a ballerina.
The dangers of photo shoots when you're on a chair with wheels.
Chair went right out from underneath me, but all I did was
You
break a
handled
nail.
it beautifully, though.
I did, because I'm just that kind of gal.
It was amazing.
And let's see what else. We had lunch with one of my children's former teacher. Hello, Mr. Reiner. We love you. If anybody needs math help, this is the guy to contact. He's like the math guru. I love him. Other than that, it's been a quite lovely week. Next week, just to let you know, Dawn will be doing her solo
I'll be
debut.
here alone next week. But let's talk about, I want to tell you about my weekend.
I was just going to ask you, how was the weekend?
So my weekend, we went to Naples. My husband and I were going to do a little quick getaway for
That's
a
a
day
lie.
or two. And I mentioned it to my daughter, and she says, "Oh, I'm coming." And she lives in Orlando. And then I told my son, our son, he says, "Well, I'm there." So our little getaway weekend, our kids came, which was amazing because we're empty nesters.
That's nice.
So
That's a nice
for us,
thing.
it's another change of venue to have the kids. So one came in from Orlando,
Can
one
I
came in
ask
from
you
Gainesville.
a personal question?
Sure.
Have you gone away with your husband alone ever?
Absolutely.
No, like even before the kids were big?
Yes.
Do you know that we've never done that ever?
Yes. So back in the election with the hanging chads, way back, we went to California. It was a whole big deal because we
out.
had to get the kids with the grandparents. And actually, my parents stayed with the kids. And there was a fair in Broward County Convention Center. And my son had Little Bear for kindergarten. You can adopt the pet. So he had a teddy bear, and my daughter had it. And they lost Little Bear. They lost Little Bear at the convention center.
Remember
And then I
Toto?
think my daughter lost my son at the convention center and didn't tell my parents. It was a whole big thing. But yes, everyone was saved, and we're back, and everyone grew up beautifully.
All right, there you go. I've never done it yet, but I'm hoping to do that before
gotta
they're
do it.
21.
But that was all due to my husband. He said we have to go.
I like that in a man.
So while we're sitting here, we do have a fabulous intern. So hopefully we're getting a much better live
And
Facebook
he's
feed for
so
you today.
cute, and his name is Brett, and he's single,
So
ladies.
shout out to Brett Weiss. Thank you for doing
and
that.
he's 20.
So that's amazing.
A little out of my realm, but not that much, knowing my history. But no, he's a very nice boy, and I'm very happy that he's here.
So we've had a fun day getting ready to be at the show. Again, we were at Ivy Lee's Luxe Beauty Lounge in East Boca, and you can find them
At 233 Federal Highway, Suite 104.
561-409-4065, and they are amazing.
They really
They
are.
have a fabulous studio. They do makeup for celebrities. Ivy actually just moved here from LA,
Yes.
so
She did a lot
anything
of,
you need, celebrity photo shoots.
celebrity
And while
stuff.
we were there was a beauty blogger there, and they were doing a photo shoot for their magazine cover. So it's just an amazing atmosphere to be. There's clothes there, so take a look, shout them out, and thank
Okay.
you again. So
Proof's in the pudding. Don't we look beautiful?
while
Beautiful.
we're here, we are here for a purpose.
Yes, we are.
And I want to introduce Tracy Kawa. Tracy is an amazing woman that I met maybe a few months ago, actually. And she blew me away with an assessment tool that she has. So, as you know, I'm a health coach, and I've been going through coaching and business building. And I know that my services are me. And then I get blown away by this amazing woman who has an assessment tool.
Very
And
cool.
she's got an assessment tool, and she's got incredible graphics, and she sits with her computer, and she's so organized. And I think, man, how do you do all of that all the time?
And ironically, obviously didn't know Dawn, but I know Tracy from our school network. Our children go to the same school, and we've known each other for a very, very long time. Over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
So look at small world.
So what I love about what Tracy does is, when you think you're becoming independent and you're becoming this woman entrepreneur and you're doing business, and then life happens and you get sucked down the mommy rabbit hole again. I feel like I'm
Yes.
in Alice in Wonderland, and you get sucked back down the mommy hole. But Tracy somehow finds your passion and your purpose, because I think the biggest thing is when women or men or anyone is looking to do what they want to do, you need to define your passion.
What I love about it, too, is that it is gender, it's not gender
Not
specific.
gender specific.
It's
Gender neutral?
everybody can
Gender
do.
neutral.
Yes, I like that.
It's
Gender
unigender.
friendly.
Gender friendly. So tell us a little bit or a lot about where you are, how you got to where you are, and what you do.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you both for having me here. This is super fun, and you are both hilarious. Your makeup looks amazing. So the salon here did a fabulous job. So I've been doing marketing, as you know, for
Yes.
25 years here in South Florida. So after making other people successful for years and years and years, I decided, you know what, I need to step out of my comfort zone and do some things for myself. And what I noticed is that, in the past several years, branding became all the rage. So one of my clients had a tool which allowed you to brand yourself personally. But I started thinking, wouldn't this be great if I had a tool that would allow me to take all that
Wait, hold
personal
on. I'm
branding
going to be
goodness?
a little graphic here, Tracy. Can you pull the mic in closer? But don't touch it here. Oh, wait. He says away.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay.
Okay, so I was thinking to myself, and I thought about this for a while. Wouldn't it be fabulous to take all of that personal branding goodness and bring it right into your business so that you really know how to differentiate yourself in business?
Can you explain to people what personal branding is? Because our kids learned it in school. It was the first time I ever heard it in school. So what does that mean?
Okay, so personal branding, I think if you ask 10 people what personal branding is, it's one of those things where you'll get 10 different answers.
Okay.
I really do believe that. But
The crux of it.
In general, personal branding is who you are and how you present yourself to the world, what your skills are, what your values are, how you dress yourself. Like if I dress in this particular manner, let's say you see me in a black dress every day. So in a few years from now, if you run into me, you're not going to expect to see me walking down the street in a tutu and glittery shoes.
Okay.
Because
that would be me.
That would be Dawn.
When you see me, if you see someone walking down the street in glittery shoes and feather boa, it's me and it's not Tracy.
And if you see me like that, you
stop
need
ring-
to call the men in the white coats.
Maybe
if you
some
see Dawn
pumps
like
with
that,
it.
if you see Dawn like that, stop her and give her a hug,
Exactly.
like in the movie Holy Man.
All right, so basically what you're saying is how you express who you are and your worldview.
Exactly, and this also extends to social media now, and that's really the crux of the reason why they're teaching it to the students and the
Right.
kids, because they know how important it is to represent themselves properly, respectfully,
Because that's your carbon
validly.
print forever.
Exactly.
So I think that goes also with what is in your name. So your brand is not you, but an individual's brand is their name.
Right.
Before you have a business, you represent your name, and you're giving this name at birth, and it's up to you to define that name.
You know what? That's really, really well put.
Okay. I
Yeah,
like it.
that's really well put. And you know what? Defining your name, it's like when you represent yourself. So a friend of mine said this to me once. He taught his kids that when you go out into the world, you represent yourself, you represent me as your
Absolutely.
parent,
Right.
you represent your family, and you represent your community.
So you know when your mom told you never wear underwear with holes in it?
Yes.
I kind of think every time I get dressed to do this show or my other show, make sure that your clothes are
But
right,
I
you
have-
don't have holes in them
I will
because
tell you,
you're putting
working-
your best foot forward.
Exactly.
Working in the house, I've never seen anybody put
With
holes
holes in underwear?
But no, I really haven't. But anyway, I wanted to ask you what concerns me. Don't you think though, even though you are who you are, you evolve?
Yes. So there are certain things that stay the same. Like, certain things like your values, for the most part, aren't going to change too
Agreed.
drastically throughout your
Agreed.
life. That's ingrained in you from your family. I do believe that there's a certain skill set that you're born with. I'll give you a case in point. I tested a very successful businesswoman here in Boca. She did the assessment. She took the online assessment. And it came up as though she's not a connector. But she has actually spent so many years connecting people because it was a learned skill, because it was something she had to do in business. So she had to teach it to herself. But in the assessment, it came
was not
up
her
as one of
strong
her
point.
least, as one of her lesser strengths, because it doesn't come naturally to her. It's forced.
So let
Okay.
me ask you this. So say you've got someone who comes to you and they're just crying, they're not happy with their job, and they go, Tracy, I need to do something else. What do I do? Well, you go, okay, what's your passion? I don't know. I love fitness. I love health. I like helping people. What am I going to do? And they're just sitting and wallowing and crying, and find your passion. Well, we all have so many passions. I know, at least for me, my passions are here and there, and glittery shoes and feather boas and makeup. And what could I possibly do with that? And I like to go to the gym, and I like to meet my friends. I like to have a glass of something to drink. How do you take all of that information, and we'll talk about that even when we get back from break, and define it, refine it, and package it?
There you go.
And that's how we go to Tracy. And we'll talk about that when we come right back from break. Is your child's tablet time greater than engaged activity time? Are you seeking better wellness strategies for your family? Do you want to redefine what your family's quality time looks like? At New Dawn Health Solutions, we focus on the 4 pillars of health coaching: lifestyle, exercise, attitude, and nutrition, to create a balanced approach to wellness. Together, we will open the conversation with you and your children on ways to empower healthy eating, increase physical activity, and set goals. Let's talk about the issues that are important to your family's health. Give New Dawn Health Solutions a call at 561-901-2854 or email us at dawn@newdawnhealthsolutions.com.
This portion of our show has been sponsored by Edelman, Barron, and Schreibman, MDPA, board-certified physicians in pulmonary, critical care, and sleep medicine. Offices are conveniently located in Boca Raton and Delray Beach, Florida. 561-488-2988.
Hey, grab your glass of Merlot.
Or your cup of coffee. And if you want to join in on the fun, give us a call at 888-565-1470.
Let's rejoin the two broads from Boca. Hey, welcome back.
Yes, we're
Our
back.
time is flying so quickly.
It is. This is a very interesting topic. But Tracy, tell us specifically about your tool.
Okay. So the CAWA assessment is a 20-minute, 32-question online assessment tool that you take and you receive an instantaneous report.
So you take it on your own computer.
You take it on your own
time.
At your own leisure time.
And it gives you an instantaneous report that you read through. And it brings to light the things about you that are actually in your blind spot.
Okay.
Oh, man,
And
you know what's
then-
in my blind spot?
That's really, really interesting.
I'm thinking my blind spot is like, whoop.
All of a sudden, you look in your
Well,
side
that's
view
what I'm
mirror
saying. What's
and
my
you see a
rearview
Mack
mirror?
truck in your blind spot.
Once they take this assessment, do they contact you? How does that
So
work?
what happens is an automatic report is generated for the user.
Right.
And then I receive a back-end report that has a little bit of additional information.
Sure.
That kind of talks about what motivates an individual.
Cool.
What's really interesting about this is that the assessment reveals so much about you, like your comfort zones. What are your competencies? What are your values? What are your strengths? Like, what is your ideal business fit and cultural fit? And that's where the whole
And
reinvention
then you take
subject.
that and you market them.
Well, then I take that and I teach them about them. So, for instance, let's take the example what Dawn said. She has so many interests and passions.
So
Right.
I took Tracy's assessment, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm taking it. I'm going to try and be really smart. I'm going to answer the questions the right way.
But it's
because-
not like that.
But it so wasn't like that. And it was thought-provoking. And one question was, how do you define success? Something like that. And how you rate your, what does success mean to you? And it was relationships, money, rapport, networking, connections. So for me, the last thing for me was money. And I thought, oh man, if Julie or my husband saw the last thing on my list for success was money, they'd say, well, you can't build a business that way. But that was what was in my heart. Because for me, it's about relationships and networking. So I took the assessment, and Tracy gets it, and tell them what you found.
So, it's really interesting because each person has their own set of competencies and strengths. And then when you bring that into business, then you know who to surround yourself with and what type of work you need to farm
So
out.
it strengthens your
So
weakest link.
It strengthens your weakest link. It tells you where you need to brush up. It helps you build teams. It helps to identify, what motivates you. It helps identify your sales style.
Cool.
So like you were saying about building relationships. So do you sell by building relationships, or do you sell by solving problems?
So
do you
let-
sell,
Or do you not sell?
Going back to what Dawn said
but
initially.
everyone sells by default. That's what's so interesting
So
about it.
why do you think selling? We all think of selling as buying, selling, purchasing.
Right.
So, but is that what selling really is?
No, selling, that's a great question, actually, because selling is actually how it goes back to your personal brand. How do you sell yourself to the world?
There you go.
All right, but going back to what Dawn said about a woman or a man who has been out of the workforce for a while, what are the things that you can do and this assessment tool can do to help them?
Okay, so a couple of things. The first is that it definitely helps to identify what this person's strengths as they pertain to the business world are. But even more so than that, just to take one step back, when people go out of the business world, it's usually for a reason: to take care of a sick or elderly parent,
Children.
to
Raise
to
children.
take care, to raise children. So what are you doing during that time?
Which we talked about a few minutes before the show. The research that I read was consistently said, don't not disclose your gap in your
That I
resume.
raised kids for 20 years. It's so critical.
Exactly.
And they said use that gap to enhance qualities like organizational skills, time management skills, budget skills.
Budget. How great would it be to take all of your budgetary know-how
I have none.
from your
Clearly, what I have are no budgetary parameters whatsoever.
to take all of that from your personal life and inject it into your business.
Do you think? But the question is, do you think that potential employers, how do they view that?
when you build all of that richness into your resume and you're really presenting yourself in an honest, open way, people can only embrace it. Potential, prospective employers can only embrace the
It's funny
honesty
how you say that
and
because
the authenticity.
I just
That's
read
it.
an article in HuffPost and in Forbes saying that you're 30 to 40% more likely to get hired if you have full disclosure.
disclosure.
I think with everything, we were talking about that this morning. If you can be honest and totally upfront and say, this is what I want, this is what it should say, this is how I feel I want it to go, it's amazing. First of all, I think for women to take your power back, it's totally empowering because you say, wow, people listened.
Right.
And then you do it again and someone listens again. It's amazing.
Right, we had that whole conversation
Right?
this morning about honesty, about when you really step into your power and you say what you want up front and you're honest. Like, is this okay? Well, actually, no, it's not. I'd prefer it this way.
Exactly. And why is it? So we were talking about what defines women versus what defines men. And gender specific, most men who have been in the workforce full time and haven't stayed home to raise their children are defined by their jobs. So if they have a success, it's thank you, I had a fabulous success. Yes, my hedge fund went multi-billion dollars. You have a woman who hasn't been in the workforce, and she defines herself by nothing. So what
or
is
her
that?
mommyhood,
or her mommyhood,
or her own identity. I am a woman. I am mom. But honestly, we wear so many hats.
I agree
We're
with that.
constantly, we reinvent ourselves just by default. We
Every
reinvent
day.
ourselves every day,
Right.
truly.
I mean, you know, you're a different person when you're here, when you're at home, when you're at school.
when you're with your children.
It's a whole,
Absolutely.
you know,
So
every
So we're
day.
defined by so many different things. So we talked about, so now we're looking about redefining women for them
Okay.
to define their purpose. So going forward, and they're saying, you know what, now it's time for me to redefine where I am. I raised my kids, or I'm in the process of, but I'm ready for some me time. I'm ready for it to be more about me and what I can offer the world at large.
Okay, so that makes sense. So that's where your interests also come in. Because I'm a firm believer that and it's not just me being a believer, I have case studies that show that where your interests and passions intersect with your strengths and your God-given skill set, that is your, what I like to refer to as your zone of purpose.
Oh, I like that.
Nice, zone of purpose.
That's
and
your
then
zone
there's
of
the comfort
purpose.
zone thing that totally throws me off, because you explain the comfort zone as a large comfort zone is when, to me, it's almost backwards. But maybe that
What do
my
you mean?
brain works backwards.
Well, think of it like a pool. Okay, so you're swimming in a little tiny pond, and somebody says get out of the water, so you just like take a couple of steps and you're out of the water.
I like that.
Now, let's say you go all the way to the extra large pond, and somebody says come on out, it's lunchtime. You're going to be swimming for a minute. By the time you get to shore, it's going to take you a couple of extra steps or a couple of extra swim strokes. So it's all about what lights that fire underneath you to get you moving, and how much fire, how much intensity do you need to move you out of your comfort zone into a life of passion and purpose.
All right,
Gosh,
ladies,
so
gentlemen.
we have
if
4
you-
minutes, so we're going to keep talking, but I just want to make sure people can find you.
Yes.
So what's the best way for people to contact you?
So to contact me, they can go to my website. I can make it simple. It's www.tracykawa, TracyKawa.com. My phone number, 561-239-0322. Or email me at tracy@tracykawa.com.
And we'll put that on our
Tracy,
webpage.
And we'll have that on for everything. And to reach
Our
us, the
Facebook
Two
page.
Broads, you can find us at info@twobroadsfromboca.com. And Tracy, having you here has been so amazing. And I'm glad you explained the comfort zone, because for me, when you were talking about it, but I love the pool analogy, because every day I do something different, whether we're adding another social media app. I say,
Right.
I'm out of my comfort zone again.
Right.
And
Or
there we go.
I say to you, I need an email blog. I'm out of my comfort zone
answering
again.
emails that we have not ever really received type of emails before.
Interesting
but
things.
that's
out
how
of
we
my
learn and
comfort zone.
grow. That's how we learn and grow is stretching.
Exactly.
Those are stretches.
So what I like about it is it's taking you in baby steps
Yes.
from A to B, not A to Z.
I believe in baby steps.
and
I
I think
do.
people need to really embrace that and say, I don't need to be the next millionaire tomorrow.
No,
but
it's
I
not-
need to find.
And I think a lot of times when people say, I need to do that, I need to do that. And I just told somebody yesterday, I'm like, just do it. Once you commit, there's no turning back.
So, but let me leave you with this, is that a lot of people believe that reinvention, and I write about this in my ebook, The 7 Pillars of Reinvention.
And where
Finding
can
Your
people
Passion,
find that?
On Amazon, Amazon Kindle.
It's called the 7
The
Pillars.
7 Pillars of Reinvention.
Okay.
But I write
Awesome.
about that. A lot of people believe that in order to reinvent, you have to totally step out of your skin and into a whole new dimension, a whole new skin, a whole new you. It's not necessarily like that. Sometimes it's just a matter of, what do I get to add?
I love that, because it is an evolution. And
Yes.
as I told you, all of my passions, and where could I possibly bring them all? Here I am.
Here you are.
There you
Here I
are.
am with my glitter and my sparkles and my
Sparkly
everything.
shoes and glitter and
it's-
tutu.
And yeah, she and her tutu. There you go.
It's been amazing.
I have a
So
tutu by 4'4".
there's So hysterical. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Tracy, so much. Again, what's your number real quick?
Thank
we
you.
have about 30 seconds.
561-239-0322.
Thank you.
All
Brett,
right.
for having us on the
Thank
live
you
Facebook
so much.
feed.
And I won't see you guys next week. Dawn will, but stay tuned and we will talk to you soon. See you on Facebook.
I will be here with an amazing adoption story next week.
Absolutely. Awesome.
An adoption of a teenager who had some rough circumstances, and she is now part of the Keene family of 5. So tune in. It will be amazing and heartwarming.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
See ya.
And on Facebook. You have been listening and watching The Two Broads from Boca.
If you have gained one pearl of wisdom or thought-provoking idea to create a better day, then we have made a difference.
Join us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on WWNN to relax and feel inspired as we continue to open those closed doors and just have some fun.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.